So we have been spending today at the Kenan Rifai Center in Kyoto for Sufi studies. And as any field of knowledge matures, it begins to reflect on itself, to ask questions about its own methodology, its own assumptions. So it's been a really wonderful occasion to bring together scholars from Japan, from Turkey, from the United States, and to have us share this conversation about what it means to study Sufism and how we go about doing so. I think the fact that now there are multiple Kenan Rifai centers and programs, obviously with the Markaz in Istanbul, at the Kyoto University Institute, having the professorship at University of North Carolina, having the program in Beijing, and then having the center here in Japan, we're really able to talk about a global study of Sufism. And part of what these efforts have done is to return a spotlight to the Turkish and Ottoman tradition of Sufism, and how lovely it is to see a whole group of Japanese scholars who speak flawless Turkish and are working on Ottoman texts and modern Turkish texts. So I think this bodes really well for a resurgent investigation and study of Sufism, and also one that privileges the study of Turkish, which for far too long has been neglected in many places. So one of the particularly beautiful aspects of this is that these conferences also feel like a gathering of friends, and there are scholars from all over the world who are the leading experts in the field of Sufism. People like William Chittick, Sachiko Murata, Jim Morris, Carl Ernst, and others, who come together. And really, Jamal Nurhoja is the only person that I can think of that all of these people will be willing to fly halfway around the world in order to be with her and to be together. So I think there's something really lovely about the magnetic pull of Jamal Nurhoja and these Kenan Rifai projects. And my hope is that, inshallah, they continue to return the emphasis on the ihsan dimension of Islam, on that dimension that deals above all else with love and beauty and tenderness. And it's a reminder that God is lovely and God loves beauty. And so it's an opportunity to get back in touch with this path of love, this path of beauty that is so lovingly described in the Sufi tradition. So as far as the methodology of Sufi studies, I think it is best to move layer by layer, step by step, yavash yavash. So in the very beginning, it requires a command of different languages: Arabic, Persian, Ottoman, Turkish, and other languages. Then we need to collect and identify the best and most reliable manuscripts and to produce reliable editions of these classical works. Then we have to produce accurate translations. Probably less than 10% of all works on Sufism have been adequately translated. And it's important to translate them to European languages, English in particular, so that a wider community of people can benefit from them. After that, then we need analytical works that contextualize these works, these figures, make connections between and among them and other figures who are out there. And then I think comes the level where we need to benefit from the best methodologies that are taking place in other fields, from religious studies, from anthropology, from history, and others, and particularly to make sure that some of the shortcomings that have tended to plague earlier genres of scholarship do not creep into the study of Sufism. So, for example, one of the most common ones is sectarian and nationalistic readings of Sufism and of religion, which tend to impose a very modern-day agenda on a study of a classical tradition. I think if we can avoid that, if we can avoid reductionist tendencies so that Sufism is just a substitute for power and authority, and instead always remember that this is a path to bring us closer to Allah. And it's the teaching of love and of knowledge of the self and knowledge of God. I think that kind of a layer-by-layer work, which begins with producing manuscripts, translating, analysis, and then bringing the best of methodologies to the study of Sufism, is a very useful way of moving forward.